Hi everyone, and welcome to Lockpicking Central. Today we are going to go over the basics of lockpicking and how locks work in general. Today we are going to do that with this clear practice lock. I got this off of eBay, I believe. It was only like $2, made in the USA, so that's a good thing. I've seen them go as much as like $12 for these things. Don't buy them, they're exactly the same as this. You can get them as cheap as like $1. This one just happened to be close to me, so I got it. Okay, so this clear practice lock. Technically, it's not a practice lock, it's a demonstration lock. But so you have at the top here, you have springs and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 driver pins. This seventh one is actually just holding the core in place. Then inside the core, you have key pins, which push these driver pins up when you insert a key, like so. Now you can see that all of these pins are lined up perfectly and out of the way. So you just turn the key and pop the lock. So with that, we're going to use this to exploit it. We have a bunch of different tools today. Let's go over that real quick. We have the city rake. See if you can take a look at that. This is a city rake. It's technically not a rake. It's raking is more like in and out. This is more rocking back and forth. So we have a city rake. We'll go over that. We have what is called the snake rake. This is actually a rake. So you're going to use a zipping attack for this. We'll go over that as well. So you're going to push it in, push down or up. I prefer down, and boop, pull it out really fast. That works very, very well. And we also have a double peak rake. This works the same as a snake rake. So you push it into your keyway, lift up or down, and yank it out. Zip attack on that again. Then we have the triple peak rake, which is the same as a double. It just has an extra peak, and you're going to do the same thing, up or down, and just zip it out. All right. Then we're getting into the more fun tools, the single pin pick tools. So this one, as you can see here, there we go. You have a half diamond peak single pin pick. This works very well for most keyways. It's not going to be your fastest. These are probably going to be faster to get into most keyways, but some I don't have very much luck with these double and triple peak rakes. They're like 50-50 for me. This snake rake works probably 90% of the time, and the city rake is probably more like 75% for me. But sometimes you can't get any of these to work, and you need to go ahead and use these single pin picks. So that's a half diamond. And then I have here a medium pick. These three right here are from Sparrow's lockpicks, and these with the bigger sheaths on them are actually from Southboard. I have a couple different tools. If you've seen my previous video, I've gone over my EDC, my everyday carry. It's all my basic tools. But this is a medium pick. I believe it's in 20 or 25 thousandths. I think it's closer to 20 on this one. And then with that, we're also going to go over these tension wrenches. So I like these, the Z-bar the best. Then my next favorite is probably this one, because instead of this, when you put it in here, then you have like a tiny little surface here. I often slip off of it. This one, when you put it in, instead of it being straight like that, you actually get a big flat surface, so you can actually have a little bit easier tensioning it. And the same as these, but this is a Z-bar. So when you put this in here, you can either have the long side here or the short side. Depends on the size of the keyway. Sometimes you can only fit the short side in there. Sometimes the long side works better for me if you have a wide open keyway, and then instead of having your pick barely doing anything with the short little thing, this goes in farther, and it makes it easier to lift your pins. All right. And last but not least, we have a top of the keyway tension wrench. So it's kind of the same as the Z-bar. You have a longer side here and a shorter side here. And this one, I believe I got it from Sparrows. I'm not 100% on that. I'll leave a link for both Sparrows and Southward. They're great websites. They have a lot of good lock picking tools and practice locks and stuff like that. So this one goes in the top of the keyway. It actually has, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it actually has some um, notches in there. So it makes it easier for this to stay in there as opposed to a flat uh, tension wrench with top of the keyway tension wrench that has no ridges in there. So with that, we are going to go ahead and show you how to pick this lock. So I'm going to choose my Z-bar. I happen to like the Z-bar a lot. It's probably my favorite tension wrench. So we're going to put it into the bottom of the keyway here and just leave it there. I'm not going to put any tension on it. I'm just going to hold my hand on it. So at first, I will show you this direction, and then I'll also show you this direction, what I'm doing here. So we're going to start with, let's go to city rake here. So when I put the city rake here, I'm not applying any tension. I'm just holding this. I'm not applying any tension. You apply tension, it'll bind up in there, and you won't be able to put this in all the way. So you push this all the way in till it hits the back. You don't have to. That's what I like to do. And then I go back a little click or two, and then just move it up and down while applying very little tension. Some locks like a lot of tension. Other locks don't like a lot of tension. You have to put a little tension. This one in particular does not like a lot of tension. It tends to bind very easily. So let's see if we can get a better view of this. So when I'm rocking this back and forth, you can see those key pins moving up and down. So when you get it right, so when they're all lined up, pop, it just opens up the lock. Now, with the tension wrench still in there, that's the city rake. With the tension wrench still in there, let's go and move over to the triple peak rake. As I said before, that city rake is not technically a rake. With these, you'll see the raking action. So again, no tension, I'm just holding it in place. You slide it all the way in. This one actually doesn't have a cover in the back, but slide it most of the way in. Pull it back a little bit so you're hitting a pin. For some reason, this tension wrench doesn't like to stay in there. And then just move it back and forth, zip it out, back and forth, zip it out. Oh, and that's what usually happens. Your tension wrench will fall out and you will lose tension on the pins that you've already picked. So, like I said, these there we go. I got it with the triple peak. I kind of used it more like the key, the city rake, but these for me are like 50-50. Some people have better luck with them. I just don't like to use them. I'd rather use the snake rake here. So the double peak is exactly the same, just has less peaks. So you're going to have to do more of a zip action. So with this, I'm going to go back and forth, in and out, light tension on this, and there we go. Since this is a practice lock or a demonstration lock, it is the tolerances are super poor. It's really easy to open this. You could probably open this with like a stick or something. Anyway, let's move on to the snake rake, which is definitely my favorite here. Again, very light tension, if at all. When you're putting it in there, don't apply any tension. Put it all the way into the back and lift up and zip it out. This is how this one works. Use a zipping attack on this one. This is the only way this one works, is to zip it. And there we go. We got it open again. All right. Now we are on to the single pin picking. Both of these work in the same way. It just depends on the key pins and depends on the driver pins. Sometimes it's easier to use the half diamond. Other times it's easier to use the small, medium, or large pick, depending on what you have. Okay, so this is not as exciting putting it in this way, but I'll show you. I push it all the way into the back, no tension. See how it's all the way in the back, it's hitting something, then I pull it back until I feel a pin. I feel a pin, so then I go back over to this way so you guys can see a little better. So, single pin picking, you want to keep steady tension on it. There is different tools besides these tension wrenches. Some people have a hard time with light tension, so they actually have something like this that has a spring in the middle, so you can't put a lot of tension on there. But I've been doing this a little while now, so I think I have the hang of it. Okay, so go all the way in the back. You see that last pin moving there. So you push it up until it gets above the shear line, and it should click into place. So there's nothing there. So let's start at 1. So 1 is loose, 2 binding, 3 is loose, 4 is loose, 5 is loose. Okay, so go back to 1. 1 feels like it's set, 2 is loose, 3 is loose, 4 is loose, 5 is loose. We go back to 6. 6 is the one that's binding, it's the last one. And there we go, we got it. So I'm going to go over that again with the half diamond so you guys can see that one more time. Okay, so we're going to go all the way in. It depends, some people start in the front, some people start in the back. I like starting in the back because sometimes when you're coming back up, you get stuck on a pin. That is how you know that one, oh, that one's binding. I'm stuck on that one, so you got to work on that one. So again, all the way into the back of the keyway and till you feel that pin. And let's start with 6. 6 is loose, 5 is loose, 4 is loose, 3 is binding, we got that. 2 is loose, and 1 is loose. Okay, back to the start. That's 6. 6 is binding tightly now. And that's 5 and 6, and there we go. And it's open. So that's the basics of lockpicking. In the next video, we are going to be going over the cutaway locks, which are these here. I also got these from Sparrow. There's their logo. It's the same logo as on my EDC kit, EDC pouch. So these are a little bit different. You can only see the pins. This is a standard pin, so it's the same as this. I also have a serrated pin and a spool pin version of this. This is actually a key. Just allows you to turn it in there, but you take the key out and you're doing the same thing. You're gonna put your tension wrench in there and you're going to pick it. We're probably gonna do the same thing for this. This is a little bit different because this is much better made than this, and it's a little bit harder to pick. I will also show you both this way and this way so you can see the cutaway, and that's gonna be our next video. So I hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day.